live. So welcome everyone to session 3 of Gray Skies and Electric Light, my MYFAROG campaign using the coming rule set. So let me just jump into a recap for Trent, who is coming back, and anybody who stumbles upon this video first. So the party sans Soleil, who was still in the hospital after some other complications, kept her in the hospital a little longer than anticipated. But the higher ups in the police department wanted to kind of move things along with Officer Ronald Springs, Horace, and later joined by our new character Hector, who I will have Lubin kind of reintroduce for Trenton's benefit. But they
Should I do that now?
After I do the recap, I'll do
Okay, sorry.
So they head up to the this may be starting their orientation for their new role in the Conspirator and Dissidence Department. After like a brief kind of a lecture, they members of the party were kind of let to kind of explore their new work environment outside of the field, to which Mr. Ronald Springs kind of got curious after seeing the commander of the Conspirator and Dissidence Department. They had found their office door standing wide open and nobody inside, because the commander, whose name is Lieutenant Avery Mayers, had left for problems with their anxiety, as they were told by the second in command. He did a little bit of snooping around the office, and shortly thereafter, they had gotten their first orders as members of their new role, and they were tasked with investigating and putting an end to a suspected religious organization somewhere in the massive city. So they headed down to the street where this supposed organization took place, and after a little bit of snooping around, they were able to locate such an organization, which was basically kind of like a very small, non-denominational Protestant church. They confronted a couple of these members who were all wearing like these weird black kind of like, they weren't necessarily robes, they were almost more like dresses. But they were confronted and were taken into custody. They were questioned, and then the rest of the congregation followed suit. After which, that was essentially where the session ended. Now, we're gonna do kind of like a jump in time to whenever Soleil would be discharged from the hospital. But first, we're going to have Lubin introduce Hector once again.
Okay, so we're talking about a man called Hector Keegan. I believe that was his second name, and
Yes.
just a common man, but he's ex-military and has access to the mechs, to the mechs that are in development still. Uh, he weighs a little bit more than average. He's like 90 kilograms, and he is very tall. He's 182, so quite a tall person. Size plus one in terms of mechanics, game mechanics. But yeah, the guy is young. He's 22 years old and basically joined the police. And because of his background with high pressure in intense situations, he got to he got the chance and accepted to join this mech rider kind of branch of the department. So that's kind of his professional side. Um, his personality is probably best described as quite cold and reserved until there's action, and then he becomes quite different. Like wants to he likes to kill things. He's just very um, bloodthirsty, kind of bloodlust, kind of is his thing. And yeah, but otherwise he doesn't show it in everyday activities. But when it comes to combat or any kind of fighting, he has a killer instinct. That's him. That's Hector Keegan.
All right. So, as I just stated previous, we're going to kind of do a little jump in time to whenever Soleil would be discharged from the hospital. Excuse me. I'm gonna kind of leave it up to Trent to kind of figure out why Soleil was kept at the hospital for so long. And
If I were to guess, maybe because, so for those who didn't see that session, essentially Soleil, while entering a residence, was shotgunned in the chest, and her bulletproof vest or bullet resistant vest stopped it. Um, but she was flung on her back. And so, if I were to guess, probably a concussion.
yeah, that sounds about right. So you probably um, it's gonna be Officer Springs probably gets word that Soleil will be discharged from the hospital. So we're just going to have the scene set that uh, Ronald is paying Soleil a visit, like as she's being ready to be discharged.
That sounds good. So yeah, Ronald would have gotten there fairly early and made sure that Sully had everything she needed to get discharged, and everything was on schedule, I'm assuming. And now he's just kind of waiting in the waiting room, waiting for her to be kind of walked out, I'm guessing, because she's not in a wheelchair. So walked out would be a better term.
Yeah, I'd probably assume that she'd probably not be in a wheelchair.
I mean, probably not. Yeah. So maybe walking out with like a nurse or even more than one nurse, and Sergeant Greiser will just walk into the waiting room, notice Officer Springs, and greet him formally. Good to see you, Officer Springs.
Good day, Sergeant. Your ride is here because Ronald's fairly nervous about seeing her for the first time since she's been released. He's probably fairly nervous in hospital situations too, so he's kind of stuttering over himself.
Thank you. And then I'll just start walking towards the exit, and I imagine he'll follow.
Yeah, I'll kind of lead us to the car. We'll get in the car, and then we'll probably start getting. I guess I'll start driving her towards her residence. I think we discussed that in our last session that
Yeah.
we all had basically your standard residence and standard pay.
Yeah. Basically everybody lives homelessness really isn't a thing in Unity City. Everybody pretty much has at least a like your standard like it's basically kind of like a 1-bedroom apartment or flat depending on how you prefer to use the term. And it's fairly well affordable under the universal basic income that everybody has, but it's just very utilitarian. There's really nothing special to it. Though I can, I'll obviously give everybody kind of a liberty to kind of describe how their particular housing unit is decorated if they so choose to.
I think yeah, absolutely. I think Ronald had said this in the last session, but if obviously Trenton had not been there, so he's got a pretty bland, kind of modern-esque, cold, sterile kind of living area. He mostly does his computer work because he's a bit of a hacker, so he I guess has more of a digital universe in space for himself that he keeps to occupy his mind. So it's pretty cold and sterile, but he pays for the extra couple credits for an upgraded internet package. So that's his joys in life, I guess. I think we had 200 or 300 credits total at the end of all said and done. That's basically
my, notes here. So the universal monthly wage for everybody in the city and probably everywhere else in the territory that is ruled under the party is 2,500 credits, which is essentially just the real value of copper in the coming. So rent for the apartment is 600 credits, electricity 200 credits, water and sewage is 200 credits as well. Like garbage pickup would be 100. Your standard, or rather just like the government supplied like phone line would be 200. Cable and internet is free, but you can pay 100 for like a premium package. Anything like transportation is 500 credits, which would leave the average person with 300 to 200 credits to do with whatever they please. 300 to 200 credits free, depending on. So, not a whole lot, but at least you're not homeless. And
So, yeah, I guess Ronald would hand over the little digital e-receipt to Soleil and be like, "You're rich, boss." Just as they're driving, just to kind of break the ice. But yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, so imagine the apartment probably looks fairly nice, although the apartment complex is almost sort of kind of like your basic like Khrushchevka kind of apartment complex that you would find in like the old Eastern Bloc or something similar.
Yeah, nice commie blocks.
So it's
Yeah.
you know, probably the walls are pretty well insulated, so you don't really get to hear too much from your neighbors, which is probably a good thing because, as I stated before, everybody kind of has their own little surrogate activity, or well, they would have a surrogate activity based on, I think, in the first session, or at least in like the session 0, I mentioned that there was like a government program that encourages people to find like different hobbies to basically try and curb a rising suicide rate, but also everybody kind of has like a side hustle to kind of make a little extra money, which can range from a variety of different things, some of which would probably be like sex work, whether it be like creating like pornographic material or prostitution, to whatever, like probably like streaming video games, or whatever they can do to try and make a little bit of extra money so that they can get a little.
I know you mentioned like Ronald Springs does like computer work. I would imagine Hector probably gets like a pension since he's ex-military. Soleil is probably very much an exception to this, because she tries to live minimally, and with the exception of she is involved in amateur theater.
Nice. So maybe there's like some memorabilia of some of her life, like kind of off duty, like
like old bits of old costumes, maybe a makeup kit, probably tickets to shows that she performed in, etc.
I'm thinking like an old theater painting or poster, kind of like an advertisement poster, which is probably like an
definitely,
e-poster. Yeah, it's probably like in a room somewhere. But yeah, Ronald's probably very used to her being a number cruncher and being very minimalist. So he's probably picked her up like a hot drink out of his own budget just to give her something that she's probably not used to, just as an extra like welcome home kind of deal.
Does he drink decaf or regular coffee?
I feel like he would be drinking regular coffee. But I mean,
Soleil's probably not used to that.
Okay. I'm not sure if he would have enough experience to know that just working with her, but he's probably not very mindful of that either. So he probably would have picked her up a regular coffee anyway. He's gonna have also been kind of chit chatting while the caffeine buzz is starting to kick Soleil about just the transition from the old location to the new location and kind of what the office is like. He's going to be talking about, the new guy Hector and how he's kind of intimidated but kind of cool. He's got some kind of weird project that's kind of top secret, and then he's going to catch himself kind of saying things outside of work that he probably shouldn't be saying. So he'll just mention that she'll see it all when she gets there. But as they're starting to pull up to the complex, he'll have already mentioned the big bust about us, the three of us, basically. Hector, Ronald, and I think Steven's character. I can't recall his name at the moment.
Shoot, what was his name?
Horace.
Horace, yeah.
Horace, yes, Officer Horace. He's going to talk about the big bust, and he's going to kind of ask Soleil if that was the right thing to do. He hasn't really had much experience kind of busting big religious organizations, but they seem kind of like fairly peaceful people, at least to him.
Have you ever heard, Ronald, of the secret police mentality?
I have not. This is all fairly new to me.
Well, I'm sure you might not know, but I do a lot of reading, and it's an idea I've formulated. Essentially that now that we are involved in policing in a much more high-level manner because of our transfer to this department, we are, in a lot of ways, a guiding hand to the people. So we have to act in ways that often we as people on the ground won't really know make sense, but they make sense to the people on top, and they're the ones who know how to run these things.
He's gonna just kind of stare and kind of nod and think about that, and he's gonna say like, "Sergeant, can I be honest with you?"
Of course.
On one of my first days, I kind of stumbled myself into one of the superior's office desks by accident, of course. I noticed that his itinerary was open, and I noticed that there was a date marked event in red. It was kind of color coded, and the date keeps kind of bothering me. It's coming up more and more as the days come by. It was.
How soon is it?
It was 2 weeks when I noticed it. Jeremy can give a better date.
It was it was like kind of 2 weeks, like ahead, but I don't think we specify what kind of time jump it was, so it might even be like
a couple days, I imagine. Probably not even that long. Okay. Yeah, so I'll give kind of the exact date because I kind of jotted it down.
I think I could ask about this, or maybe if you wanted to, you could do that as well, but it might be best that I do that, being a sergeant. And if we don't get an answer, well, it depends on the answer that we do get. If it's you don't need to know, then maybe we don't. But if it's something, if he reacts badly, that could mean he's hiding something.
Ronald's again just gonna kind of think and nod, and he's gonna be like, I hope you're right, Sarge, but Officer Horace really, I'm not sure if he's sick or if it was just because he missed chasing down one of the suspects on that religious bust, but I'm not sure if he hasn't been showing up to work recently or what's wrong with him, but Again, this was right after this kind of, after I came into the desk area, and I almost got caught kind of doing it, so I managed to slip away, but nobody really knows it was me per se. So again, I'm just trying to fill you in with all the details of work. I know it's kind of a lot to take in.
I appreciate
I'll let you enjoy your I'll let you enjoy your coughing and get some sleep, but I'll see you in the morning, Sarge.
See you in the morning.
He'll help her out of her car and hold the door as he eventually makes his way back to his car.
Thank you. And Soleil will have a very hard time sleeping because she is not used to caffeine.
Yeah. So as Soleil gets into her apartment, her phone rings, and it will be the kind of like the commander, like that they were under before they were promoted. That would be Mr. Strickland, and he will obviously give Soleil a ring, and will say, Sergeant Soleil, I understand that you were just discharged from the hospital. Am I correct?
Yes.
Good. I'm glad that you are now better.
Thank you.
So, once you, after a good night's sleep, we will get you on board with the rest of your colleagues in the Conspirator and Dissidents Department. They've already made quite a name for themselves in the department. They're settling into their role quite well, and I expect you will do the same.
Thank you.
Very well. Good luck to you. You will. I'll probably see you around in passing, but you will be. Obviously, you will be reporting to Lieutenant Avery Mayers. They are in charge of the Conspirator and Dissidents Department. So, good luck to you. Get a good night's sleep, and I'll see you at some point down the road.
Comprende. Have a good night.
You too as well. And he hangs up the phone.
All right.
So, as you eventually drift off to sleep, you have a little bit of a dream. It's kind of fuzzy, and it kind of like it almost kind of like plays in slow motion, but you see kind of like it looks like there's like a riot going on, and there's people like waving like strange flags with like different symbols on them, and they're shouting and crying about human liberty and other things like that, but you can't really tell where exactly it is. You can kind of tell it's in the city, but there's this kind of like a lot going on. You can't really pinpoint where exactly in the city it is, but there's this like a huge riot like somewhere in the city, and eventually you wake up like in the morning, and what does Soleil kind of make of this as she wakes up in the morning?
She probably just thinks maybe she was worked up, maybe the caffeine did something or something like that. She doesn't attribute any supernatural significance to the dream or anything.
All right.
She will check the news though, just out of curiosity.
Yeah, you check the turn on the government approved news channel, and it's nothing really too much of note. You hear some news about some like some like celebrity like gossip, or like some usual like scandal, but you're kind of used to seeing stuff like that, so it doesn't really phase you. You see just some like petty crimes that were committed, and some like political news about how the party is planning on increasing the universal wage once again, which they do basically every year, in as they say, in an attempt to combat homelessness or poverty and whatnot. But nothing out of the ordinary that you probably wouldn't see any other time you turned on the news.
In that case, I will think nothing else of it and get ready to go to work.
Okay, so you head out to your personal vehicle if you have one, or if you just prefer to walk. I'll kind of let you decide that.
Probably gets up really early to walk.
Okay, so you're just gonna you just kind of walk to work.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's I think, as I kind of described kind of like what Unity City looks like like in the previous couple sessions, is it's kind of a kind of like a mix of like the cities of like Los Angeles, New York City, Tokyo, and Dubai, kind of mixed together in this massive clusterfuck of a city. And you know, all like the sidewalks are pretty well packed of people you know, sleepwalking off to their jobs. And pretty much everywhere you look, you see a massive like neon sign, whether it be a sign or like a massive like screen advertising something, some kind of whatever consumer good, whatever it is, but usually featuring like some like hypersexualized, like vaguely feminine creature, you know, advertising it. But again, this is all kind of stuff that you this is pretty normal. It is probably, I'm gonna say it's probably in the mid to like high 40s in like on this morning. So you maybe have a little bit of a chill, like with you as you walk off to the station, and once you get there, you walk on into the ground level, and you find the receptionist, which I believe is just like a very androgynous human character who has like, I think it was like green or yellow hair that is like cut in like a weird way, and you can kind of tell that this person has a lot of like body and facial piercings, but they've all been removed, like per per policy for the department. And the person will greet you and say, "Good morning. You are your Sergeant Soleil. That's right. Is that right?"
Yeah. Good to see you.
You are waiting. You're heading up for your orientation for the Conspired and Dissidents Department. That's on the 3rd floor. So you're just gonna head down to the elevators. That way they're gonna point. It's kind of like point. They're gonna point with their kind of like their whole hand. They don't like point with one finger. That's just kind of like a custom that has kind of developed over the years, but she said you're gonna head down to the elevators right there, and they'll take it from there.
I will follow the directions and go to my orientation.
All right, so you go up and you go through your orientation, which is, you're literally the only person in the orientation. It's led by the actual commander, Lieutenant Avery Mayers, which, to describe this person, to think that this was a police officer, you'd be like really scratching your head. It's like, how did this person become a police officer? Because you look at this person, like nothing about this person screams strong or even secure. This person is very skinny, doesn't really have a lot of muscle tone to them. Again, kind of like the receptionist at the ground level. Very, very androgynous, like with a slightly more, I guess, feminine lean, but you can kind of tell by the tone of their voice that they have a much higher. You can kind of tell it's like a male voice, but it's like somewhat higher pitched.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they they kind of go on about how the department is there really to kind of keep the populace in line with the party's policies, and make sure that no dissident groups really take hold, and after which you are going to be dismissed unless you had any burning questions that you would like to answer.
I don't have any burning questions. I'm just ready to get to work.
Very well. Very well. This is Lieutenant Mayers speaking. Very well. You will, if you want, you can just kind of wander, kind of take a little self-guided tour around the office. You'll find your colleague, Officer Springs, and you can find your cubicle. You're gonna be cubicle number 49. Like, that's where you'll basically be stationed when you're not out on the field.
All right.
And after which, Lieutenant Mayers will dismiss you, and now you're kind of free to familiarize yourself with your new department, at least like in the office like aspect of the job.
All right.
So I would imagine Officer Springs is already there, and probably Hector as well.
Yeah, I imagine Ronald's probably actually talking to Hector, and he's gonna probably come up to Soleil once he sees her and say, "Oh, Sergeant, good morning. This is Hector, the gentleman I was telling you about," and I'll introduce them.
Good to meet you, Officer Keegan.
Yes, and it's good to meet you too. Greiser?
Yes,
Well,
Sergeant
shake
Grice.
shake your hand if you don't mind. I'm gonna squeeze his hand really hard, or her hand. Was it her or
Her.
she or he? I'm gonna squeeze her hand really quite hard, and like shake her whole arm, like very awkward. But that's what my character will do.
Soleil will not be fazed by this. She's dealt with very macho people in the past.
Uh-huh.
Not that that's all that common in Unity City, just that it exists.
Mm-hmm. Oh well. Despite that, will remain friendly. Hector will remain friendly despite that kind of not so warm meeting. We'll still be curious to see more of Greiser's Soleil Greiser's personality, but that's kind of the meeting, I guess.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty kind of the office is pretty, I guess, quiet. You just hear like your typical office sounds, like you'll hear like a telephone, ring in the distance, and the usual kind of office chatter. And by kind of, whether by coincidence or whether by you know by like kind of chance, that Soleil's cubicle is basically right across from Officer Springs, which conveniently has Soleil's name is actually already on the cubicle, which is, it's basically like a electronic thing, so they kind of pre-programmed it to have your name already on it, so that you can kind of already kind of feel like you have a place there, I suppose. And it's just kind of a bare bones, cubicle, just like your, just your standard, desk chair and a computer, but nothing really of interest. Just nothing more to say about a office cubicle, really.
All right. I guess I'll get settled into my space. Maybe I brought some stuff with me from my old desk, like, say, an antique pocket watch and a today in history type calendar. And then I will log onto my computer and see what there is to work on.
Okay, so there's really not too much going on right now. It's pretty much the all the computers are like kind of connected to like a cloud, so when you like enter your login information, like basically like your old desktop kind of pops up as you remember it. So there's not too much setting up. You kind of probably catch up on hundreds of emails that have piled up over the weeks, and probably the as you're kind of getting your this day in history calendar set up, the day in history, it's basically says that on this day in history, the revolutionaries made plans to overthrow the old government in creating the laying down the framework for the party. And so I guess we'll take it down to Mr. Springs. So what is you'd mentioned to Soleil before you would after you dropped her off that you were kind of working on something. If that's something that you would be wanting to share.
Yeah, I guess I was just trying to work out the new event that's coming up as well. I'm trying to figure out what that's still about, but I can't really. I'm guessing Avery's been in her office recently, so
Yeah,
or his office.
It's basically Avery is a non-binary type. So
Okay, so
Oh, yeah.
their office, I guess.
oh yeah, by the way, all the nameplates on all the cubicles have pronouns on them.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. So, as it would actually turn out, the supposed event is actually going to take place. It's going to take place in about like 3 days from now. And as you know, I think as you said, you've been kind of racking your head. You know, Officer Springs has probably been kind of racking his head. It's like, what could that be? And you just have absolutely no idea. Like, you looking at basically all like the other calendars, there's basically nothing on any of the calendars that would, you know, that say anything about that date. But
Yeah. I feel like Ronald's paying attention to every single notice that's being like posted in the office, every single email. He's probably walked to get coffee like twice as often as usual, just because it passes by Avery's kind of office, or he gets a little glimpse of her office kind of as he goes to get coffee. So that's probably what he's doing right now, is going to get some more coffee and trying to take a little peek into her office area. And he's also going to check by Horace's office just to see if he's actually in work, because he's a little bit worried that, you know, he hasn't been to work, if he's been sick, or that's what he's kind of gathered through the kind of rumor mill, but he thinks it might be a little more than that.
okay, so we're gonna say you at first kind of like passed by where Horace's cubicle was, and it has been completely cleared out. Like, his name isn't on it. It, like, none of like the any like personal items he might have had, like, it's all gone. It's just like been scrubbed clean. It's like he was never there.
Yeah, I feel like Ronald's going to be fairly concerned about that, and he's going to kind of look around, see if there's anyone that's recently been cleaning it out, but if not, he's just going to keep to himself. He's a little skeptical about that, and he's going to probably make his way to get the coffee and see if he's noticed anybody else that's kind of taken to the fact that Horace is no longer at his office, or no longer has an office even.
Just kind of just kind of walking like through the office the past couple of days. There has been basically like no mention of Horace whatsoever. Not even like anything about like anything about him being sick or anything. Like, even after, I mean, obviously after the raid on the church, like there was a little bit of a talk about him, but pretty much ever since, like his name has not come out of anybody in the department's mouth.
Okay, so Ronald's gonna grab his little cup of coffee and quickly take out. I guess there's still cell phones or some kind of digital equivalent of a cell phone. And he's gonna call Horace's personal number and see if he gets a response. But
It goes
after a
straight to
couple
voicemail.
rings, I'm guessing.
Actually, it
even
doesn't
worse.
go to voicemail. It basically says that like this number is unavailable. Like it doesn't ring at all.
I think Ronald may have had a call him once or twice work related. He feels like that's a little suspicious, so he's gonna take his coffee and quickly get back to his office and maybe kind of lock eyes with Soleil once he sits down at his desk.
So you sit down at your desk and you're just kind of glance in Soleil's direction as like all of you are kind of like settling in.
Yeah, exactly. She's probably going through her emails, and after she doesn't notice him for like a couple minutes, he kind of whispers, "Psst, hey."
Oh, sorry. Were you trying to get my attention? This is imperative.
I kind of noticed you're into your emails there. Have you noticed that Horace doesn't have an office anymore? He was the cubicle down the hall, right next to Cervantes.
I suppose I didn't check, but that's strange.
Yeah, it's cleared right out. Like he doesn't even have a mug anymore.
What do you think we should do? I'm sure we could ask
I don't
someone.
know. Perhaps, but if they're the kind of people that would can you for just, not being able to run down a suspect, that's pretty harsh. I don't know. Kind of has me on edge.
I think I'll ask about it. I'll go to Lieutenant Avery. What was its
Mayers.
last name? Mayers.
Meyers.
Okay. I'll go to Lieutenant Mayers, and I'll just inquire about it. I was wondering what happened to my my coworker Horace, officer. Did he have a last name?
He did not actually. He was
Officer Horace.
Lieutenant Mayers just kind of give you like a funny look. It's kind of like a confused look, and they're gonna tell you who's Horace.
Soleil gets the hint. Just probably nothing.
What? I'm sorry. What'd you say?
I said Soleil gets the hint and just says, never mind.
Mayers just kind of nods, and you can kind of tell that one, like, they have like a kind of like a more of like a stern look to them as they turn around and like start, back on their like turns around and like starts doing whatever work they do on their computer. So you obviously you got basically, Mayers is basically pretending that Horace doesn't exist anymore, or was either, or at least was never part of the department. So
Yeah. Soleil figures probably he was suspected of some kind of dissidence and was investigated and found to be, shall we say, wanting of loyalty.
Ronald's probably gonna be waiting with his coffee, kind of half drunk by the time Soleil gets back to her office, and he's gonna ask, "Did Lieutenant Thayers give you any update?"
The lieutenant hinted to me that it might be best if we forget about Officer Horace.
Ronald's just gonna nod and kind of mutter, "That's kind of what I suspected," but he's just gonna ask, I guess, Soleil if there's anything else that we are required to do today, or we're just basically sitting on standby.
I think it's just gonna be one of those days.
Ronald's gonna nod and be like, "Hector, do you want to grab an early lunch?" Just kind of try and kill the boredom of the day.
I think it's about time for lunch, right? It's about lunchtime now. Maybe we should definitely get something, but what do you want to get? I feel like burgers.
I don't know, blowing my whole protein ration this early in the month. Maybe it's worth it.
I don't know. Are you going to the gym after that?
Maybe. I don't know. I'm not a big gym guy, but I'm just thinking about, are we talking real burger? Are we talking cricket meat, Beyond Meat? What are we talking?
Well, I was thinking actual meat from an actual animal.
There's not many of those places around anymore, but I mean, there's the one off of what is it, 22nd? We can go over there.
Yeah, or well, we could definitely go there.
Sergeant, you wanna come with, or are you gonna sit and drown in your emails?
I'll come with.
All right.
Great. I'm thinking classic burger with lots of meat, lots of fries, and ketchup, mayonnaise. Haven't had anything to eat, so that's definitely very appetizing.
Alright, so you guys are gonna go head out to lunch to like a burger place somewhere. And, obviously any sort of like a meal that has like excuse me, actual meat in it is kind of a not really a like a rarity, but it's definitely a much more expensive option compared to whatever alternatives there is. So, are you doing like a dine in, or are you doing like takeout, or
You want to eat in, Sarge, or do you want to just eat in the car?
I'm fine either way, as long as we're sitting down. We could sit down in the car.
We've
or
done
here.
enough stakeouts eting in the car. We could always eat inside. I don't know.
I prefer to keep the car clean, so yeah.
Okay, let's take a look at this place on the inside. Maybe we can find a nice booth or table. 3. That's what I'm gonna ask, like, the people inside. If they have like a, is that like a restaurant, or is it just like like one of those shops that just sell food and then kind
It's
of
probably like
take the food?
like an actual like sit down restaurant, and it
Uh,
has like a almost like a weird kind of like pseudo like kind of like a weird like pseudo like 50s diner kind of vibe, but more in a more kind of futuristic kind of way.
Neon lights everywhere.
Yep. It's kind of like, let's see if I can. So yeah, it's just, you know,
Okay, I really like the interior design of this place. What do you guys think?
Yeah, it's pretty nice. I haven't been here in a while. Ronald's gonna say.
Yeah, I feel like they've changed some of their branding. It looks more futuristic now.
The future is now.
Well,
okay. So
I have to agree. It definitely seems like it is now. Now that they've changed up, freshened up this place. Haven't been here in a long time. So, is there a person that I could speak to in that place?
yeah, like
Um,
you got like again like some vaguely like feminine looking uh person,
Gender
quite
fluid
quite young,
person.
and they're all kind of like how like some like waitresses would be on like roller skates, but it's kind of like that, except they're basically like floating like on
Oh,
air.
like magnetic skate rollerblades with magnets. That's awesome.
Yeah, something like that.
That's so cool. Wow.
Maybe they got like the low tech hoverboard thing where you get dry ice and you put it under something.
Oh, and one of oh, that's so cool.
I feel
So,
like there's at least one with like a Segway.
It's something kind of like that, but in any
awesome.
case, you get your you
Okay, well, I'll turn to one of them and ask if she could find us a nice place to sit. Hey there, we want a table for 3, and we also probably want to sit and eat some stuff. So, there's something like that we can come up with.
so yeah, they'll find you a nice booth, and
Awesome. I like booths. It always feels safe, just like in the trenches. Except for the comfortable, soft padding on the bench.
alright, so you get kind of like a nice bench. They kind of have you kind of like sign into like a little computer kiosk at the desk or at the table, and once you all do that, it recognizes that you're law enforcement, and you get like a discount because you know you were upholding the law of the city and whatnot. So
Well, that's just perks of being a police officer, I guess. Very good. Is there anything like futuristic in the menu except for crickets, meat, and stuff like that? Is there something
Like you got
like food that's like in capsules or something funny?
yeah, you've got like your kind of very typical a variety of different like protein options. Like you got your Beyond Meat, like your cricket burgers, you know, you know, other like obviously not meat options, but then there's like the like actual like animal meat, which is a lot more expensive than the the not
I wonder just how much more expensive do you think it would be?
um let's say the let's say like a kind of like a cricket meat burger, or not like a cricket burger would probably be like maybe like 5 credits,
Mhm.
like a meal. Like you got like future fries, they're probably just regular like French fries, probably like still fried in like oil, because just because it's the future doesn't mean it's healthy.
Nope.
And like an actual meat burger would probably be closer to like 30 credits.
Whoa. Well, that kind of
But seeing as you are
means,
police,
yeah.
you're gonna get like a pretty substantial discount. So it would
Well,
probably
three.
be more like,
Yeah.
let's see.
Did you say it was 10%, or how much did you say it was?
I don't think let's see. It'd be like 30% discount.
Oh, great. Okay. It's not that expensive then,
So it's
especially.
like more like 20, more like 20 credits.
Yeah, I'll
Well,
just get a regular burger then. I'll
I'll get a
splurge and
normal
serve.
burger, and well, life is too short to deprive ourselves of the adequate kind of fuel for the body. So I'm going to close my little menu and push it to the center of the table. And I don't know how it works with futuristic restaurants. Do you call the waitress over? Does she come by herself? Do you like send her some kind of a
There's probably
message?
kind of like how
Was
you kind of like checked in to the kiosk. You probably order on the kiosk. It's kind of
okay.
like, I think it's how on like some restaurants it is kind of like there, kind of like that. You have like a place where you can like order food. You could pay there. So
hmm
it's basically something like that. You have basically excuse me, the whole menu at your disposal.
I see, like a fast food chain,
Yeah.
right? Okay. Well, I'm going to go and basically bark the order to the person there that takes the orders, and I'm going to ask if they have some kind of new interesting drink that they offer, or if it's um, or if there's something like that. I'm just gonna look at the drinks and try to pick one that's kind of exotic or new, but that's not disgusting. At least I hope so.
Um. See, they
Or
have
maybe
one
I'll
kind of
just
like
have like something normal. I don't know.
they have a drink that's like a new product that just calls Bliss.
Ooh, that's got to be good. I'll have a bliss with that. Large bliss with that. And I'm gonna laugh to myself as I'm saying that. And I don't know. It's probably all like contactless payments, and like there's a chip in my hand, and I just move it over to the section that registers the chip, and I'll deduct maybe 35 credits from my um, screen on my hand, and I'll say thank you to the person, whatever their gender is, and go back and wait for them to prepare this amazing food.
Yeah, which you know, with all the advances in technology, the preparation of food has been made quite efficient, and you have your
Awesome.
food in about 10 minutes or less.
Great. Well, that's good. So, yeah, I've ordered my stuff, guys. If you would like to, you could also, when I return to the table, that's what I'm going to say to my colleagues.
Yeah, Ronald.
Like going
Ronald
to
will
go up
just.
and
Sorry, go ahead.
didn't mean to interrupt you.
Ladies first. Ronald will point.
Oh,
Oh, what a
don't you know
gentleman.
that's such an outdated concept?
Yeah, that's right. As the man is, he's just trying to be polite. That's everything.
Well, rank first, then you'll point.
Now that
Rank first. Yeah, we're all gonna laugh, and I'm gonna like tap him on the shoulder and say, "Yeah, these days are long gone, friend."
All right, I'll go up and order Soleil is not a large person, but is just going to order like about twice the amount of chicken, like probably chicken strips that you would expect someone of her size to be able to eat. And she'll make an offhand remark about lean protein.
The weight, like the weight thing, or whatever a gender neutral term for a waiter or waitress is, weight person, kind of does kind of like a very dry, kind of like forced laugh, and goes off to get your order ready. And once again, you know, you have your food in like no more than 10 minutes.
And Ronald will just get a regular burger with whatever highly caffeinated future drink they have. Pretty standard. And then he'll sit down with the rest and start eating.
Soleil will have a big cup of water, no ice.
Having a very European, like a very European kind of a experience with your water.
Yeah.
So you guys get your food, and you're probably kind of chatting when your your radios, which you all have like kind of like earpieces. You hear like kind of a you hear like your names kind of crackle over the radio. It's just like Sergeant Greiser, Officer Springs and Officer Keegan. Are you there?
Ronald's like 2 bites into his burger, and he's just gonna look up and be like, "Oh fuck, yeah, I'm here."
We're here. What do you need? Over.
We just got some order. We have some orders for you. We are tasking you to scout out the slums. And this we the party just got clearance to demolish them, but we suspect that in the past there's been a lot of criminal activity. So we're asking you to make one final sweep of this area before we tear it down to build some more housing.
Sounds good. Anything we're looking for in particular? Over.
Nothing really in particular. That patch of land has always been a known hotbed for lawlessness, and I can't imagine why they haven't torn down that eyesore anytime sooner. But really, just anything from anti-government dissidents to any sort of drug trade or anything of the sort. if you can find it, then you are absolutely authorized to arrest on the spot. And for Officer Keegan, we would probably recommend that you take your suit with you. The people who live in the slums aren't exactly the most trusting of newcomers. So
Okay, I think I get the hint, and I like it.
yes. So report back to the station.
Definitely going to enjoy
as soon
using
as
the
possible,
mech.
and get yourselves ready to dispatch to the slums. Any questions?
Crystal clear. Out.
Oh, did you hear? We're bringing out the mech. That's just what I needed after a nice meal.
This will be the first time in field. Ronald's gonna say, just kind of surprised because he's been waiting for the news of this since he got to the dissidents department. So he's excited.
Yeah, I'm just going to swallow this big chunk of food and kind of lick my lips and then get ready to move. I'll take whatever's left of the food and throw it away. If there's anything.
Don't throw that away. We can eat on the way, gentlemen.
Okay. I'll ask for some kind of a container of some sort, and I'll go and ask that that thing that I spoke to earlier.
Yeah, you get kind of like You get a container that's kind of made out of a probably like kind of like recycled like plastic or paper or something.
Awesome. I would expect no less from any restaurant in our advanced and modern civilization.
Ronald's gonna kind of see the container, and he's gonna be like, "Is that one of those new 7-day biodegradable containers? You say they only give you 7 days, but it's more like 2, to be honest. You better not let that sit around your fridge too long."
Oh,
And Ronald's
well,
gonna just have scarfed up as soon as the radio had went off. He's gonna have just started wolfing down as much food as he can because he's kind of used to this life. So he's actually probably almost done. So he will be walking out of the restaurant a little sore in the stomach, but he's ready to go.
okay, I'm also gonna go out and I'm gonna open the door to our car and make myself comfortable.
Okay, now that you
Where to, Sergeant?
We'll be going to, and I'll just give basic directions to an area I think would be good to start at, and like something, and mention a few landmarks in the area.
Okay, sounds better than what I have in mind, but I do need to go and get dressed, inverted.
Yes,
Well,
of course. So yeah, Ronald will start heading back so we can get Hector his uniform, and then I'll let Jeremy take back over to see what happens next.
okay. So you're gonna head back to like the station to allow Hector to put on his suit, and in the meantime, kind of like the same thing as the previous session. You were kind of invited to go into the armory and pick out some civilian clothes, or at least what looks like civilian clothes, but are made out of a kind of like a special bulletproof alloy that basically functions as a Kevlar vest, but it just looks like regular clothes. It's like,
Yeah, Ronald's gonna take the Kevlar vest and probably look a little more homeless than he did in the last session, dressed quite a bit down than he is now. So besides that, he's ready to go. I don't think there's anything else that he needs. He'll be taking his police issue, right, or his pistol and his boot knife and his police club, but that's basically it. Probably a flashlight.
yeah.
Given the fact that we're going to have Hector in a mech, Soleil probably decides it's not really going to be all that useful to go in plain clothes. So she'll just wear her normal uniform and flak jacket, I believe it was.
All right.
Yes. And bringing her, I think it was a .38 revolver.
Yes, your old school revolver in the future.
I love it.
All right.
So I guess we have our bases covered. We can have a little bit of I can go scout it out, and then we have you two as backup. So that's perfect.
All right. So we'll probably get in the car and drive to where we need to go.
Now, okay, so the slums are just kind of like on the kind of like the outskirts of the city to the west. Are you familiar? Are you all familiar with the Kowloon walled city?
I have heard the term, but I'm not familiar with it.
Okay, so it was basically a giant squat in Hong Kong. Like you gotta look up pictures of this thing. It's like a fucking like mess of like a building, and it was basically a home to a lot of it was basically kind of like a sort of kind of lawless society. There was a lot of drug use, a lot of you know prostitution, and a lot of other like kind of illicit activities. But that's essentially what it looks like.
Yeah, I put a picture of it in the chat. I'm reading about it right now on Wikipedia.
It's actually insane that actually exists. But
yeah, I mean, it doesn't exist
Ronald's
anymore, but
I mean, it did at one point. That's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ronald's probably blown back that this is at least in the game, is standing right before him, and it's probably kind of an eyesore, but like such an immense eyesore that it's a little overwhelming, and the smell's probably very intense.
Yeah, it like smells like not very good. It probably smells like a mixture of like human waste and various like chemicals and whatnot. It's like a very pungent stench, but kind of the residents of this squat are probably used to it. So you find yourself at the somewhere around the this massive like mess of a structure, and there doesn't seem to be like any like I mean there are like countless different entrances, but there's never any like there's not any like really like I guess marked like or super obvious entrance, but it's on the outskirts you see kind of like a couple like small shops like selling various things like synthetically produced like produce and synthetically produced like meats that were probably produced in a facility somewhere inside the complex. None of them kind of look very kind of it's very ramshackle and not really like a official business, which really any sort of like establishment selling a product has to have a license to do so. So it, but that's kind of like your kind of like the first couple things that you see when you come in. Just a couple shops on the at street level, and you look up, you just see just like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of little apartments built on top of each other.
All right, Sergeant, how do you want us to do this? Do you want us to go in guns a-blazing? Are we just gonna make an announcement and hope for the best? Or are we gonna go in quiet and stealthy?
I'll tell you what. Since you're in what appears to be plain clothes, you can, you should probably go into a room first, and then report back to us if there's anything, shall we say, suspicious or harmful in it. Then we clear the room together.
Can do, boss. So Ronald will go with like what appears to be some sort of or can you make it like some sort of perception to see if there's like people coming in through a main doorway? I know you said there's not really a main kind of entrance, but
Yeah, you can make a perception check.
right. Just check my modifier here. Not very good. 4. So I'm guessing I just see a lot of hustle and bustle. So
Yeah, you kind of see a lot of hustle and bustle, like around like the
I guess I'll just kind of
complex.
walk up to one of these meat shops, kind of just walk past them, see if I can see anything of notice.
On the kind of like on like a back wall on one of these shops, they see that they have what appears to be like a business license, like, but you can't really tell if like it's a legit business license. There has been times in the past where businesses have been caught with forged licenses, or kind of like, or basically kind of stolen like business licenses.
All right. Yeah, Ronald's just going to ignore that for right now, regardless if it's. I mean, they're going to get kicked out one way or the other, so he's just going to continue on and see if he can find another entrance into this complex.
Make a tracking check for me.
Alrighty. Tracking. That's intelligence. Perfect. That's a 1 altogether. So I'm guessing I don't do very well.
No, you are unable to find a way in. You think you find like a way in, but it's really just kind of like a long dark alleyway that's just piled full of trash of varying types.
Perfect. So after that little adventure walking down a little alley full of trash and back, he's going to be rather upset, but he's going to try and circle around the building a little bit farther just to make one last attempt. And he's going to radio back that he hasn't seen much besides what you would expect from this type of complex.
Okay. So you have had, really no luck finding a way in. So what was your next action, if anything?
Sorry, I was just going to see if there's any other ways besides like farther down, but after basically scouting, I'm just going to return back to the group and say I haven't really seen much. Looks like there's some licenses on the wall that could be phony, could be legit, but there's a lot of trash in the alley over there. That's a lot of trash everywhere, it seems. But yeah, no luck as to finding an actual residence in there.
I guess we need to look for another entrance then.
Well, I can make an entrance. I'm gonna punch one of the walls and see how well they're built.
Make a strength check.
No problem. That's not how it works.
No, it's alright. It just changed. I actually
There you
prefer
go.
the old roll, but
5 isn't very strong, but it does say that I get +4 to strength-based skills, so I guess it's a 9 altogether.
You make
The
one.
mech suit.
You make one
Like-
strike, kind of like a what looks kind of like a flat kind of concrete panel. You like give it one like solid punch. It cracks, but it does not like give way. It's still standing. But
Maybe I didn't hit it too hard the first time.
Ronald's still gonna just look a little bit surprised because that would be very difficult to do. So
yeah, you can make. You're free to make
It's not
another-
possible, basically.
You're free to
Okay,
make
I'll try
another
one more time, but
you're free to make another strength check.
yeah, sure. That's better. So that's 12 this time.
12 altogether.
Yes.
Okay, so now finally you hit it like a second time. The wall comes crumbling down, and you like pretty much just as the rubble kind of clears, you see you kind of broken into a brothel of sorts. So there's like
Okay. Whoa, sorry,
very,
ladies.
scantily clad women and what you can assume to be women, and others, you're not entirely sure what they are, but you can obviously tell that they're, prostitutes of sorts.
Now, remind me, is prostitution illegal in Unity City?
It is not. The only thing that is illegal is pedophilia. So really, as far as like vices go, most everything is legal.
And I'm sure the people at the top don't worry about the few rules that there are.
There's been speculation as such, but you've maybe heard some rumors from some unruly dissidents that you've probably responded to, but you've paid little mind to because they were probably screaming random insults at you as you're like arresting them. But as far any sort of like wrongdoings as on part of like the party are just conspiracy theories in essence, but anyways.
So I guess my course of action would be, firstly, Hector, Officer Keegan, this kind of defeats the point of having a plainclothes officer with us.
I guess it does.
Well, we have an entrance now. Esteemed citizens, and I'll turn to the bordello. Is this a licensed establishment?
Make a perception check for me. Or
No,
you,
I mean
or
like
you
I'm
asking
asking
a question.
them. I'm asking them.
He's the let's see. Let me roll acting for this guy.
So I take it he's lying.
Yeah, you
That's
can
actually
very
smart
clearly
thinking
tell
on your
he's, like,
part.
kind of like one of the guys is really kind of shaking. He's like, yeah. Of course it's a licensed establishment.
May I see that license then?
He's kind of like very obviously fidgeting, and make a morale check.
Me?
No, he's going to make a morale check.
Oh, okay.
He is going to panic and flee. So he's going to kind of like dash out of like dash into like out like a doorway that's kind of like covered in like a bed sheet.
Soleil just is going to give a cursory look around and just say, like, well, clear out, everyone. I believe, unless anyone tells me otherwise, I believe he was not telling the truth, and this is an illegal establishment. None of you are in trouble. Just get out of here.
I'm gonna say Ronald's gonna chase after him as soon as he starts dashing, while Soleil's doing that, if possible.
Okay, so as the members of this brothel kind of comply with Soleil, Ronald's gonna give chase to this man. Correct?
Yeah, I'm gonna try and chase him down if possible.
Okay, so
I want to go after with Ronald just to make sure he doesn't get ambushed. I'm gonna keep his back.
okay, so you're kind of like you're out like the that kind of doorway led out into one of the many dark like walkways in the in this city. It's very dimly lit and very damp and also very narrow. So this man is booking it down this this long hallway. After a while, he's going to turn around and he's going to pull a pistol on you guys.
Oh,
he's going to
shit.
train in your direction. So, the two of you roll initiatives.
All right. Let me just triple check that I don't have any bonuses. No. All right. Straight roll. Six. Plus, if I would be pulling my pistol as well, so if you want to include that. It'd be 10 altogether.
Okay. And for Hector?
So I rolled 2, but I don't know exactly if my mech suit helps with this or not. I don't think it does anything. No, it doesn't really change my initiative, but I got 2, and I'm not armed with any kind of firearm or pistol. That's 2.
Okay, so you're unarmed, so you're gonna be...
Oh, I have a +1 to Dex, so it's 3. Sorry.
Okay. And so, obviously, since this guy is armed, he's gonna get the +4 to initiative, so it's going to be Officer Springs, the fleeing man, and Officer Keegan. So, what is Officer Springs' first move?
I guess seeing him pull a weapon, I would probably just pull my pistol and shoot him.
Okay.
At least try and not kill him, but I mean that's kind of hard to do in the moment. So that's a 17 to hit.
17
or
to
17
hit. That's
to.
definitely going to hit. Let me pull out my
No worries. I'll just roll for damage right now. We can just add whatever we need to.
Okay.
That's a D8 is 8 full damage, so I maxed it on damage, so I hit him pretty well. I would imagine.
What'd you say? What'd you roll?
I rolled an 8 total, so
You rolled 8 damage
For-
and you roll a 17, correct?
17 to hit, yes.
Okay,
That is
going
correct.
to be damage +4.
Mm.
So that would be
So that was 8 plus, that's 12 damage altogether, which might be enough to kill him. I don't know.
It was actually.
Damn.
So you see the man like draw a pistol, and you kind of just instinctively quick draw your pistol and shoot him. Oh, I'm gonna kind of like pick where you kind of. I'm gonna have you pick where you shoot him. Obviously, you one shot him, so it, or
I'd probably just be going for center of mass, so I'd probably just shoot him right in the stomach, right in the chest,
all right. So
and he just
like-
drops.
yeah, you like shoot him like right in the heart. He drops, and he just kind of bleeds out very quickly.
I guess I'd radio to Soleil, and I'm not sure if it goes back to dispatch or not, but I'd be probably mentioning that, I guess the situation, someone tried to pull a weapon on me, shots fired.
You handle it well.
So
Looks like people are clearing out even faster now.
Sounds good.
Awesome.
all right, so now you hear the one gunshot that rang out just echoes on for quite a while. It was like, this is obviously a very long walkway, and with how kind of extensive this whatever you would call it, not really necessarily a metropolis. It's kind of like a city within a city, but there's a whole bunch of different corners and like ways to go, and it's just like So, you guys are all like back together? Is that?
Yeah, I feel like we would have probably circled back and just made sure Sergeant was okay. Did you want to do anything, Hector? Sorry.
No, I'm just trying to see how noisy this mech is, and yeah, it's quite noisy. I'm leaving like these prints, and like the floor underneath me is when it's like softer, like wood or stuff like that. It like leaves marks of where I've stepped.
Let's see.
It's like crunching snow, but crunching like anything that's softer than cement when you step on it. So I'm just kind of admiring its design and kind of weight, really.
Yeah, I think I posted kind of like the stats for the mech
Yes.
suit. So you have like a -5 to stealth because yeah, it's
Yeah.
you're not gonna be doing too much sneaking with that thing.
Probably not. I think this is more about going in there and being a threat to anything that stands in front of you, rather than trying to sneak. It's more kind of a taking head on whatever's in front of you.
So now, obviously, you guys are all together. You have forced your way inside of the slums, as is referred to, and now you have to. Well, we don't. The thing is, you don't really know what you're looking for. You were just told to look for any undesirable activity, I suppose.
Well, we found one of them.
Officer Keegan. Now that shots have been fired, I'd say it's probably best that we throw subtlety to the wind.
Agreed.
So, would you like to lead us?
Absolutely. I'm gonna make some way in front of you, and let you know if anything shows up. I won't be very discreet, as you said, and I'll just try to make ways and shortcuts when I see that there's something in my way. I'll just clear the rubble or clear like any kind of trash that's blocking our way. So, what do I see in front of me? So I'm gonna like go out of this little street that the shooting took place, and I'm going to go in like the opposite direction so I can join like the maybe main area that they spend time in. These people live in this kind of a city within a city.
So as you're walking through these hallways, there's just every so often you'll find like tiny bits of like trash just been thrown on the ground. You might see like a couple rats scurrying about.
Mm-hmm.
Some old like kind of posters for some probably like from concerts from long ago.
Mm.
And I guess I'll have you make a perception check and see if you
Okay. Let's see what this place has in store for Hector's eyes. Oh, Dice Maiden didn't respond. That's not good. Dice Maiden is broken, guys.
I'm sorry.
Dice Maiden is broken. The dice roller is broken. I'm gonna use an alternative dice roller.
That's fine. Do what you gotta do.
Yep. I'm sorry. Okay, well, I rolled 14 for perception, and your mech stats reduce dexterity, but that's not dexterity, that's int. I have +1 to my perception from focus talent, so that's 15. That's my result.
So, as you kind of like walk down these halls, you start to see like little posters with emblazoned with a symbol that kind of looks like a single eye with a like a blue iris.
Uh-huh. Interesting. I'll make a note of that. I'm gonna radio over to Greiser and Springs. I see this weird symbol. It's an eye with a blue iris. It's a single eye. Have you seen it anywhere else around this place? It's the first time I've come across it, but it looks like it's a recurring theme on some of the walls.
Can I roll world lore to determine if I've seen it?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. And do you want me to use the dice bot, or is it fine if I use physical ones?
Yeah, you can use physical dice.
Okay. I thought so. It's just been a while since the last session I was in, so yeah. All right, I have a +1 to this, and that's a 6 altogether.
Yeah, you can't recall seeing the symbol anywhere else in your travels or on the job as a police officer, like before your promotion. So this is foreign to you.
Okay. Is there anything else we should know about in the room, officer? Over.
That's all I can see in this one. Perhaps if I keep going forward, I might come across something else interesting, but that's it really so far.
I will start moving into that room and beckon for Officer Springs to follow me, and I will radio Officer Keegan, you're good to clear the next room.
Okay. I'm gonna kick open the door. I'm not even gonna bother opening it.
I'm going to take a picture. Well, actually, do we have cell phones?
Yeah.
I'll take a picture of the eye symbol.
Okay. So Officer Keegan is gonna clear another room. So, as you enter the room, it appears to be empty. There's, nobody. It appears to be empty, as in like nobody's inhabiting it, but it looks like it's just kind of like a makeshift apartment of sorts.
Okay. So that's all on like a single floor, or it's like a building that has one floor, right? It doesn't have like any other like floors, or what is it?
I feel like we are on the main floor. Just curious, Hector, what kind of weapons did you have? Are you just hand to hand, or?
I'm hand to hand with the mech, and when I'm not using it, I have a pistol, and
okay.
I think that's about it, really.
Sounds good. Yep. Sorry.
Okay, well, I'm gonna look around this room. I'm gonna like touch all the walls, and I'm gonna like try to like find anything hidden. But if there isn't anything hidden there, um, I'll just walk out. So I'll just try to do like a search of the room. I'll search the room for some stuff. Like I'll look closer for some stuff.
Okay, so you're
So
gonna search the room for something.
yeah, I'm gonna search the room for something.
Um,
Whatever.
Foraging check for me.
Okay. I got a 4, 5 actually, 5.
Yeah, your search turns up empty.
Okay. Well, it really was an empty room then. That's what I'll think to myself, and I'll move on to the next one, or the next place that needs to be investigated. I don't really know how many more rooms there are in this building.
It appears to be like it's a fairly expansive complex. So there's quite a few, more rooms to kind of look in.
Okay. Well, I'll just head into the next one until I kind of see something noteworthy.
I imagine we probably would move up with Hector just to make sure he's covered from behind.
Yeah, and in fact, if you don't mind, officer, I'll take point on the next room.
Oh, not at all.
I'm getting a strange feeling.
I'm also a little bit worried, but I feel safe in the in the suit.
Okay, so you're going to. So Soleil is going to take a look into the next room.
Yeah, hand on my revolver, but discreetly,
Okay.
as I open the door.
Alright, so the door swings open. There are two men in the room, and they're dressed rather shabbily, and the room kind of has like a pungent, a pungent chemical smell that really wasn't, prominent. Like obviously the hallway had or the whole complex has like kind of like a foul odor to it. But once you enter this room, like there's a very strong like chemical smell inside, and the two men just kind of like look at you in like surprise, as like they weren't expecting anybody to just kind of like walk in.
Police business, be about yours, and I'll just radio to my squad. There's people in here. They don't seem threatening. We can move on.
Ronald's gonna kind of roll in and just kind of look at the two and be like, "Hands where I can see them."
Yeah, they put their hands up. They don't really.
Hector's gonna get like in last and kind of like push the the arc of the door a little wide to make like space for his suit to get in, and he'll like start sniffing and he'll say, "But can you smell this? It smells like some kind of chemical in here."
Yeah, Ronald will just kind of scan like the tables and kind of the floors just to see if there's anything that shouldn't be there.
Okay.
Now that you mention it, I'll say, and then Can I also make a perception?
Go ahead.
All right. And that's another 6.
I rolled a 12.
Soleil, you can't really tell like too much. Just like for whatever reason, the room is kind of dimly lit to begin with. There's just kind of like a table lamp in like a corner of the room. But I'm gonna say Officer Springs is able to looking at there's a couple of tables on the in the room. You can see that there's a variety of different substances being like prepared to be like put into like plastic bags or like kind of wrapped up in plastic, ranging from like fine powdery substance to very like large, like they look like kind of like very large crystals of sorts.
Okay, Ronald's gonna kind of keep his gun somewhat trained on them or in their direction and move towards it and be like, Sergeant, looks like we have some little more than just a couple partiers here.
What do you think it is?
Definitely, I guess substances wouldn't really be illegal, but it probably isn't coming through the government. This probably is like that gray area.
Yeah, it's if it's not being done in a government regulated facility, it would certainly be illegal. Because as you said, drugs
like
aren't
we have
necessarily illegal, but as long as it's regulated, I suppose. But as you
Gotcha.
can
So
tell,
he's gonna say to Soleil, looks like we have some unlicensed pharmacists here.
That's a soft term for it, but yes. You two, scatter.
The two men vacate the room.
I guess Ronald's gonna take his little like police nightclub and just kind of knock the whole thing off the table and just kind of make a big mess of make it very unusable.
Make a poison resistance check.
Oh boy. This stuff seems to be powerful. Okay, let's just triple check what my poison resistance is. I think I'm a flat roll for that.
Very pungent, that's for sure.
Let's see if Dice Maiden is working. That's a D20, correct?
I believe
it is.
Yes.
16.
You kind of like after like, so you knock some of this stuff onto the floor. Is that what you said?
Yeah, I guess Ronald's probably breathing a little heavy as he's doing it, which is probably not the best thing to be doing.
So you knock some of this stuff out onto the floor, and like some of this powdery substance kind of goes everywhere, and you inhale some of it, and within like a couple minutes, you kind of start to feel a little off. Like you feel kind of like lethargic, and you're gonna get, for the next hour, you're gonna have a -2 to all checks.
Okay. Ronald's just kind of, as he's knocking it over, I guess, kind of wafted out of the air away from his face, and he's like, ugh, this crap. Let's keep going. And he's just gonna try and not make a big deal. He's gonna try and brush it off mentally and try and get his body to focus on the caffeine and focus on the adrenaline. But yeah, this is definitely taking him on a weird turn.
Okay.
Shall we take a sampling of this or just leave it?
Probably not worth it.
Okay.
Everyone knows there's shady stuff going down in here, but I don't think anyone needs to know.
Unless
more
there's
than
like
that.
really huge packed up baggage. I figured it was just like a bunch with a little like. I imagined it was enough just like on whatever sprinkled out that knocked that out, whatever little baggage, just dump that out in the garbage. But if there's like actually like big sealed amounts, I would probably just take that as evidence, just so it's not sitting there for anyone to just stumble across. In fact, we probably should have taken that guy's gun, but I don't think we did.
Guns are not illegal, right?
Firearms are illegal. I mean, like private firearms ownership is completely outlawed. The only people who are allowed to have firearms are the police and the military.
You know, if I had remembered that, I would have.
I guess Ronald will ask, Sarge, did you want me to double back and just make sure that's I don't leave anything lying around?
Why don't we?
I mean, we could work our way back to the cruiser, and I could grab the shotgun that's in the trunk, and then we're a little bit more armed.
Oh, sure. While
right,
you're doing that, I'll go confiscate that firearm. I completely slipped my mind.
No worries, I should have done that. That's my fault, Sergeant. So yeah, I'll work my way back, and hopefully it's still as we left it.
All right. So
I will. I'll follow in the direction that the two went, and I'll be walking briskly to try to catch up with them.
okay. So the other two are gonna head back and grab some more weapons from their patrol cars. The pistol that you picked that the guy running the brothel was, it's just like a normal 9mm pistol, like a semi-automatic pistol. So it would be like a automatic pistol normal in the coming book. So
Nice, that's what Ronald has as well. So, did you want that Soleil, or did you want to just like back up? I know revolvers are fairly reliable, but
I'll take it, and then I will. I'll put it inside of my uniform, like to conceal it under my vest.
okay. I will take the pump. I believe it's a pump action shotgun that's in police vehicles, so I will take that. I think there's also a semi-automatic rifle if Lubin, if Hector wants that.
yeah, that's
I
That's
can't
a
recall.
good idea.
I have written down for like the kind of stuff you'd find on a patrol car. Yeah, you got one semi-auto rifle with 2 magazines, pump action shotgun, and Kevlar vests, first aid kit, flashlight, and ammunition for your firearms, basically.
Okay, I'll take the shotgun and I guess the first aid kit just in case. And then I'll return back to Soleil and Hector.
I wonder what kind of like scale of drug producing these guys were doing. Was it just minor? Looks like quite minor stuff.
It was
It looked minor, but I mean, there's probably a big shop somewhere around here.
Hmm.
Yeah, it wasn't a very big room, like, and there wasn't like too many like ready made you know ready like packaged drugs. So this was obviously like a very small operation, and they kind of just you kind of caught them in the middle, like they were just like getting ready to like start packing up a batch of whatever
Uh,
drug it was.
well, nothing like that old cartel stuff we were taught in school. I hope not. Know what I'm talking about, right? The drug cartels, the bands, the gangs, people that got so powerful they start to threaten governments.
These might have been some gangsters, but I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me if any of those people were in this complex. It's a pretty big, I'm sure all walks of life come through here.
Well, if I
Okay, so I guess the question is, are we going to go back to the room and continue on that way, or are we going to try and circle? Is there like a number of pathways we can go, or is it just kind of one straight hallway?
Yeah, there's a bunch of like different like you know bunch of different ways that you can go. Like there seems to be like kind of no end to like directions that you can go. It would be very easy to get lost in this sort of complex. There's a lot of
well, this perimeter is secure here, right? We've secured this perimeter.
I guess that's true. Do we want to just continue on in kind of a grid formation and try and make it a little easier on our brains?
You mean, shall we split, or do you want to walk as a?
I mean, realistically, it's going to be chaos in any direction we go. So we'd probably be best staying together.
Okay.
But that's Sergeant's. If Sergeant wants us to all start breaking down doors, we can do that.
Hey, if you want to break doors, look at those. I'm gonna show these two hydraulic pump fists that could break through everything.
Ronald feels a little more comfortable with the shotgun, so.
All right. So what is now that you've gone back and you've gone back and you armed yourselves a little bit, a little bit better. What exactly is what's everybody's you're just going to continue moving forward like from where you were?
Yeah, and then I wanted to go follow those two guys who had the gun.
Well, what the two guys that were like in the room that you busted in, or
Yeah.
they actually were not armed.
Oh, I'm sorry. I interpreted. Sorry. When you said that he should have confiscated the gun, I thought he was talking about those guys, and I was wondering like why it had slipped my mind that they didn't have one. Sorry about that.
Oh no, my mistake. I was referring to the guy we shot when we first walked in with the parlor, the sassy senoritas, which seems to be a common theme in our games.
It does.
And it's always Leuven too. It's amazing. Yeah, I guess.
Okay, yeah, I guess I just make them spawn out of existence.
Right.
Nothing.
At least most of them
my presence summons them.
Some of them were seniors, and some of them were.
Some of them were
less sassy than others.
Some of them were less sassy. Some of them were
I don't imagine any of them were too assertive, so perhaps none of them were sassy.
Oh no, probably
It's-
not.
it's-
They're probably all drugged up by this guy here. We just
That's fair.
saw.
That is fair.
Alright.
All right,
You did feel
Sergeant,
lethargic,
lead the
right?
way. What's that?
You feel lethargic still, right?
Yeah, but I'm trying not to let it. I'm sure you guys noticed that Ronald is sweating quite a bit more than he normally is, but he's
It's
trying to keep
slurring
it
a little
together for
bit
you
of his
guys.
speech, yeah.
Yeah, he comes back with a shotgun, and he's a little bit more.
Yeah, a little better.
I don't know, a little different than Ronald normally is. So
Yeah.
I guess I'll let you guys kind of lead the way, and he'll just try and stay at the back and stay quiet.
Okay, so after a while, you can kind of start to hear lots of like muffled shouting and like people running around as people kind of start to realize that the complex is being raided. And at one point, you come to a corner, and as you turn around the corner, you see about, let's see, three guys kind of round the corner, and they all have all three of them have guns. One of them appears to have a pistol, and the other two appear to have have a rifle of some sort.
So there's three guys, and one has a pistol, one has a rifle.
There's three guys. One of them has a pistol. Two of them have the other two have rifles.
Oh, okay. I guess I will immediately, as soon as I am able to see that, I'm gonna go back, close the door, go to the side of the door, and whisper to the other two, weapons ready.
Ronald's just gonna nod and hold his shotgun tight.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna let a little steam come out of the hydraulic fists, my mech, and get ready to kind of box with them in a way, and prepare myself.
I'm going to very, very carefully, after about 5 seconds of waiting, knock on the door and yell, out with your hands up.
And pretty much not maybe 5 seconds after you shout that, one of them one of the guys with the rifle opens fire. He's going to let out a 3-round burst. It's a assault rifle. So if you're gonna have illegal guns, make it illegaler, I suppose. So he's gonna let out a 3-round burst in your direction. But
so just to clarify, I am not actually standing in front of the door. I'm standing next to the door,
okay.
Pressed up against the wall.
Okay, so they're probably gonna do it anyways because the walls are kind of thin.
Okay.
So they probably know that the bullets are gonna go through the walls anyway. So the guy lets out 3, and I'm gonna roll for that.
Would I get any cover bonus to my DV?
Yes.
So rules as written, 100% of me is obscured by the wall, but I don't. But given that they probably know exactly where I am, would it make sense for it to be more like +5 to the DV or something?
That sounds fair.
All right.
So let's see. It's
You're looking for a 22 or higher then.
yeah, none of those bullets hit. But yeah, the shots ring out, and you see 3 bullets, come like flying through like the thin concrete wall. It's probably just like really cheap concrete. But yeah, it's like none of them hit, but like they like come flying through as they tried to shoot. Obviously, they tried to shoot through the wall. So at this point, everybody roll initiatives.
All right.
Let's go. I think I know what I want to do actually. Whoops, I rolled the wrong thing. My initiative is really bad. It's just 1.
Okay.
I rolled a 2 plus the +4 is 6 altogether. I don't know if we're including that.
I got a. So I have +1 in my dex, and I have good reflexes, so that's +2. I have my gun drawn, so that's +4 equals +6. And what I rolled was a 4, so that's 10.
So you have a 10 initiative.
Yep.
Okay. Right. There goes me dropping my book. So Soleil gets 10, and let's see, Hector rolled a 1. What did Ronald roll?
I rolled a 2, but I get the +4. I'm not sure if we're including that, but
If you're armed with like a firearm, then yes.
oh yeah, I guess Hector's the only one not using his firearm right now. Okay,
So
I'd be 6 then.
A 6, okay.
Yeah, correct.
Ronald with a 6. Okay. Okay, so the initiative is as follows: Soleil, 2 bad guys, Ronald, 3rd bad guy, and Hector.
All right. I guess what I'd like to do is, firstly, I'm going to like take a defensive stance, get down, and then I'll open the door, but I won't go through it. I'll just shoot at whichever one I can see best through the door.
So, what do you say? You're going to shoot the first one that you can best see through the door? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay, so the first guy that you see is one of the guys with the rifles. It's like it looks like a tattered old like M16 rifle, and he does not appear to be wearing any sort of armor, but he has, rifle trained in the direction of the doorway. So, roll your attack.
All right. I have a total of +3, 1 from dexterity and 2 from the laser sight. And that's going to be a 21 to hit.
That is damage +10. They don't have particularly high DVs.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
and I rolled minimum damage, but that's still going to be 12 because the heavy revolver does D8 +1.
He is dead.
Headshot.
Yeah, so you probably, with your, good marksmanship, you probably just round the corner and just like before the guy can even get a shot off, just dome the guy, and he just drops limp to the ground.
I love playing as a repressive police officer in a dystopian society.
Yep.
You just get to kill people, and it's
Sometimes that's the best part. So now we have the first well, it wouldn't be the first because the first one died, so it's going to be the second guy. This guy has a pistol, and he's going to... Actually, I'm going to have him roll morale first. And see, morale. See, bear with me. He's nervous for 4 minutes. And so he's gonna try and take a shot at you. That's going to be a 7, so that's not gonna hit.
And by the way, I should say I ducked behind the door frame immediately after my shot.
Yeah, so he essentially just takes, I'm gonna say, like 3 shots, like roundabout where you would have been standing, and just waste just 3 bullets. Like it's just a regular semi-automatic pistol. It's but anyways, now it is Mr. It's Officer Spring's turn.
All right. Can I see both of the individuals that we're kind of in conflict with, or just the gentleman with the pistol?
Where were you in relation to Soleil?
I feel like I was farther back, just because I said that I was going to try and stay towards the back with everything going on.
Okay, so I'm assuming. So would you have been behind Soleil, or?
I would have been behind Soleil. Yeah, I guess with her
so
kind of
probably,
whispering and giving us a heads up, I would have moved up.
Yeah, you probably don't see anybody right now unless you were to round that corner into the room.
Yeah, that's fair to say.
Yeah.
All right. I guess I'll take a shot at whoever I can then. Whoever's the obvious target right now.
Okay, so if you were to round the corner, you would see the one guy with the pistol and the second remaining, like the one remaining guy with the rifle. He's probably about 10 feet behind him.
Okay, so how far would he be from me? Probably like 20 feet?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll shoot the person with the pistol because he's closest, just because I have the shotgun.
All right. Roll for it.
That's -2 to skills, correct?
Yeah, -2.
Okay, and I get +1 for the OV with shotguns, so that's really a -1. 15 altogether, which is still pretty good.
That's going to hit. That's going to be damage +2.
Sorry, I rolled 7, plus you said damage plus, or
2.
damage as is. Damage +2. Okay, so that's 9 altogether.
Okay. That's going to be good enough for a critical injury. And roll a d20 for that. See what you get.
I rolled a 16 as well, which is actually funny. That's what I rolled to hit.
Blow to hand.
Oof.
If
That's
armor
brutal.
worn, hand broken, cannot use. If no armor is worn, hand shattered or cut off, serious bleeding, stun for 2d6 rounds. Let me roll that real quick. 10 rounds. So you have your shotgun. You essentially just obliterate this guy's hand. The pistol drops to the ground, and he's just starts screeching in agony. And I'm gonna roll morale for the other guy. 9. No consequence to him. He is unfazed. And now it is his turn. So now that Ronald Springs is in the doorway, he's going to let out a 3-round burst in your direction. That's a 16.
I believe that hits, yeah. Let me just triple check.
Let's see.
DV is 15, yeah, so that would have hit.
Your DV is 15?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's going to be damage.
Damage as is, I think.
And by your luck, only one bullet hits, and I gotta find out what that is. That's a D10. Eight damage.
Okay.
Is that a quarter of your health?
That is more than half, actually.
Oof. So that's
I have 15 health, so yeah.
That's a critical injury for you.
Correct.
15. Blow to knee, knee smashed, light bleeding, negative -7 on all movement and combat skills until healed, stunned for 11 rounds.
Shoot.
So,
Damn.
guy lets out three round burst. One hits you in the knee, and you're just gonna probably drop like a ton of bricks.
Yep, that's fair.
Okay. And now it is Hector's turn.
Okay, so they are getting pretty much wrecked, right? These bandits or whatever they are.
Yeah. One is dead. One is, seriously injured. One is at full health,
Okay.
and your comrade is, pretty badly injured.
Okay, well, you said that those walls are very like rickety, very like
They're not very thick.
breakable. Okay, well, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just try to break the wall that separates me from that last guy that's still full HP, and I'm gonna like pick up a large piece of the concrete and throw it at his direction, and I'll try to like injure the person that way. That's possible.
So you're gonna break through. So you want to break through the wall and use some of the
Yeah.
debris and use as.
Yeah, the debris.
weapons.
Definitely. Yeah.
I'm gonna say
Maybe like a.
you can use your turn to break the wall, and then you'll be able to use. next
Well,
round
then
make the
I
attack.
don't like that. I'm just gonna. Is it like is the door big enough for my mech suit to fit through it?
I would say it's like just barely wide enough that you can fit through.
Okay, well in that case I'm gonna like plunge and I'm gonna like this is probably stupid, but I'm gonna plunge like forward from the door. And how far away is this guy?
Like 20 feet.
Okay, well, would I be able to, do that plunge and be able to be in range to grab him? Like, can I jump 10 feet with the mech suit?
Well, you got
Or is
a.
it?
That would pretty much be like just in your range that you could get there because you have a. It's like a -10 to tempo, I think.
Yeah, it gives me -10 to tempo, -5 to stealth, -2 to dexterity-based skills, and I got a increased fumble range
Yes.
to natural 3. But what I want to do is I want to do like an acrobatics check and then do like grappling or wrestling and just grab that guy and like neutralize him.
We'll do the acrobatics check first. If you're successful, then you can do a wrestling.
Yeah. Let's do that. Oh yes. The 20 was 16 -2. It's 14 for the acrobatics check.
All right, so yeah, you're definitely like you succeed on your acrobatics check. So now you can just kind of like charge in and just like. You're going after the guy who's unharmed, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna like throw myself from the place that I am in front of the door, and I'm gonna try to like do a tumble forward, and then either smash the guy with the mech suit and crush him completely, or grab him and then like twist like his body in a way that like breaks his vertebrae. But that's what I'm picturing in my head anyway.
Yeah. Let me find the excuse me. Find the thing for wrestling. Off the top of your head, do you know what uh page that's on? Never mind, I found it. So you're gonna make a melee attack. Minus 2 mod at attacker's OV and the defender's size.
You get a +4 to strength-based skills. Is melee attack strength-based? I think it is.
Yes.
Okay. So +4. Oh, I rolled a 20 +4 to 24.
Nice.
Yeah, you overpower this guy, definitely.
Nice. And what kind of can I like do damage to him, or do I just incapacitate the person?
I'm gonna allow you to do some damage.
Okay, well, how will we determine how much I do? Like, do I roll like unarmed attack, or is the mech
Say
got
roll
like
an attack.
unarmed? So, how much damage does an unarmed do? D3, D6?
Let's see. I'm gonna go with a D6
Okay.
for now.
And that's only 2. Um, no. Yeah. I would imagine it's I don't know if I have him like, and if I've got him like quite well with the wrestling, it should be quite easy for me to just like end the guy there, right? Because I've got this unnatural strength from the mech, right? Or is that not how my mech is working? Like I can't really imagine how strong how powerful is it? Is it like a less powerful version? Maybe if it's less powerful, I understand only 2 damage.
I would say it's probably a bit less powerful since it's kind of a experimental device, I suppose.
It's a lighter version. Okay, well then I'll just take the 2 damage.
So
I'll do the 2 damage.
okay, and obviously you have the guy kind of incapacitated still. So
Okay, that's
honestly,
great.
we could probably end the combat here, since we got one guy dead, one guy is he's got his arm blown off. He's not gonna be a threat for quite some time, and you're pinning the third guy down. So we could honestly end combat here.
Sounds good.
And
Okay.
actually, so I was actually planning on kind of like ending the session here. So what would before we end the session, so what would be like kind of like the actions now that combat has ended?
Well, first I'd like to know, so are we expected to arrest people we find who are doing wrongdoing, or is this more of a taking out the trash kind of thing?
If they were posing like an immediate threat to you, you could absolutely use deadly force to take them out. But
no, like lining them up against a wall. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Just making sure. So I'll start handcuffing. Well, I will do my best to handcuff the one who is missing much of his hand, and I'll let Hector have his fun pinning down the other guy.
Thanks. I am having fun. So I'll just probably make sure this guy is unarmed now. I'll just take away his weapon, and then I don't think he'll really try to do anything else. So.
So he's not really in any position to put up much of a fight. Neither of them are. But now, of course, you have a very injured, Officer Springs. So that's definitely going to be something that you'll have to address in the next session. So I'm going to stop the broadcast here